Hey there, it's Susan Pierce Thompson and welcome to the weekly vlog. You know, when I think back to the moment that was the impetus for the entire Brightline Eating movement, it was a moment at about 5 a.m., between 5 and 5:30 a.m. on January 26th of 2014. You've probably heard this story. I was in my morning meditation and the message came, the thought came, larger than life, just so forceful. Write a book called Brightline Eating. And what that was about was that I'd been doing some reading lately in psychology, and I'd been confronted with the utter cluelessness of the entire field of psychology around what really causes people to fail at the game of weight loss, to not be able to lose their excess weight and keep it off, and the utter ignorance in the entire scientific community around the value of having clear definitions around what you eat and what you don't eat, a structured way of eating for people who struggle with an addictive relationship with food. And in that morning meditation, I got really in touch with the potential I had to project out into the world a message of education, a message to teach people what's true and what's real about how the brain interacts with food and how it is for some of us, not a few of us, but about half of us that have enough food addiction on board that our brains are going to run amok and not adapt well to this obesogenic food environment that we now find ourselves in, driving obesity rates up and up and up and up until we educate people that a simple structured way of eating that especially avoids, even categorically avoids, with a bright line, the addictive foods of sugar and flour and other types of processed foods that are holding our brains hijacked, that until we understand that we need to do that, we're gonna utterly fail at helping people to reclaim their health, reclaim their bodies, and together get global obesity rates trending down instead of up. So I was in this morning meditation, and the visions that came were about writing a book and getting the book out there on the worldwide wires, through talk shows and the Today Show and all that stuff, New York Times bestseller list. All that happened. And along the way, I created a video series called the Food Freedom Video Series. I created the first version of it in early 2015, and then right on the heels of that, I created an updated version of it in the fall of 2015. And we used those videos for years and years and years. We edited them some, but the core of those videos remained in circulation for many, many years, and people in every country on planet Earth have seen those videos. And as a matter of fact, the most common story that I hear in Brightline Eating about how people found us was they stumbled on a video series. And in watching that video series, their whole conception of their lifelong struggle with trying to, lose their weight, lose a few pounds, came clear, like what it was really about, what was going on with failed attempt after failed attempt. And what I want to announce today in this vlog is that we have created here at Brightline Eating an updated version of those videos, a brand new series called The Science of Sustainable Weight Loss. And we've updated it in a lot of ways that I think are helpful. One is we've made it shorter, but also more consumable. Those original videos were 35 to 44 minutes each, something like that. I don't remember the exact length, but on the order of averaging 30-something to 40-something minutes each. And there were 3 of them. And there were no visual effects, like none. It was just me standing against a pretty plain background talking. And thank goodness I like to talk, But these videos that we've created now are in shorter bite-sized chunks, kind of more in line with what people watch these days. The first video is 2 minutes. The next one is just, they're all just a handful of minutes long, like really short little consumable nuggets. And we hired an animator to take some of the points and bring them to life in graphic animation in a way that I think is really fun and compelling. And so, yeah, but well, not trivially, it's been 7 years since I shot that first video series, and 7.5, and time has marched on. And so these videos are now updated with all the years of experience that have come since, and most critically, the research that we've done, right? The susceptibility quiz, which we've gone and validated scientifically, and so that's in there. Some of the studies that we've published, and there's just a really clear narrative. And because there's individual videos you can easily go back and reference, like if you're struggling with a certain time of day eating and you feel like, wow, I just keep falling into the willpower gap, you can go back and watch the video on the willpower gap, right? If you're struggling with cravings, you can go back and watch the video on cravings. If you have just taken the quiz again and you've got your number and you're like, okay, I'm a 9, what does that mean again? You can go back and watch the video on the susceptibility quiz and the susceptibility scale and refresh yourself on what that's about. So last week in the vlog, I announced the new app, and I want to direct you to this video series in the app. Now, this is in the free portion of the app that anyone can access. Whether you're a member or not, you can access that. If you just go to your app store, whether it's the Google Play Store, the App Store, wherever you download apps, go to the App Store, download the Brightline Eating app, and then right in the middle of the screen, you'll see a Why It Works video series. I think the Science of Sustainable Weight Loss video series was too long. It was going to cut that off, so we just call it the Why It Works video series. And you'll see there's 10 videos. The last one introduces people to the Brightline Eating membership, to being a Bright Lifer, explains what's involved there. That's the longest video that goes into the details of the membership. The rest of them are short videos. And together they daisy chain in an order, in a series where one video leaves off and leaves you sort of with a cliffhanger of what you'll get in the next video and why you would want to watch that one. And so it's just really easy to follow along and click the next video and click the next video. So here's why this matters. One is that it's available to you for free. It's just a helpful resource and tool for you. But the other one is, together here we are on a mission. On a mission. We are watching global obesity rates march ever upward with no end in sight that we can see together. Like, it is just looking abysmal. The latest numbers that have come out are so shocking. I believe there was a prediction that we're going to be at 65% obesity in the United States at some point here, not that long from now. So what we can do together is band together for our mission, which is, yes, 1 million bright transformations, but also global obesity rates trending down. We want to get this climb leveled off and ideally trending down so that we can together experience some relief from the economic, psychological, social, physical hardships that are coming from this excess weight that we're carrying around, right? It's not just a stigma problem. It's not just a fat shaming thing, right? This is like, we're going bankrupt. This is diabetes and heart disease are unchecked, just ravaging society. This is depression and anxiety and mental health conditions that are coming from the way we're eating. This is 2/3 of people now are dying too young and in pain. This is, giving birth to generations of people who are going to be some of the first to not outlast their parents on average, right? This is an issue of enormous proportions, and together we know some of the basics that need to be conveyed to turn that around. I summarize them in 4 clear points. And this video series really covers the first 3, all right? So here's our public service announcement to the world from Brightline Eating, right? Number 1, food addiction is real. I know you get that, but people out there often still don't, right? We've got to keep beating that drum until people understand food addiction is very real. It's not a metaphor, it's not an analogy, it's a very, very real phenomenon. Food addiction is real. Number 2, not everyone's affected. And of the people who are affected, not everyone's equally affected. And that's helpful because, for the people who can eat, one cookie, one bite of dessert and feel completely satisfied and not even think of another, for people who never lose control over how much they eat once they start, it can be very hard for them to understand that other people experience food very differently. And so understanding that brains respond very differently to addictive foods is really important for understanding and compassion for people who experience it differently than we do, right? So food addiction is real. Not everyone's equally affected. And then number 3, for people who are affected, a more structured program of eating that does perhaps include some bright lines, some foods that are just not eaten as a rule, right? Just like some people don't smoke cigarettes as a rule. Most of us now, thank goodness, these days, right? That a more structured way of eating is going to produce not just success, but freedom, actual freedom. Not, that's unrealistic, you could never stick to that. But just like someone can be vegetarian and stick to it for decades, you actually really can stick to bright lines for food, stick to them for decades, and feel free. Feel free. Now, the 4th one that's not covered in the video series is that as a society, we really want to think about doing things to protect those who are most vulnerable among us, mainly the people who are more susceptible to food addiction, and then children who don't have a voice yet and a vote yet, and whose brains, may not have weighed in yet about where they fall on the food addiction continuum. But things like what's going on in the UK now, where they're banning commercials on ultra-processed foods during hours when kids are awake and might be online or on TV, banning commercials. Just like we have laws about commercials for cigarettes and alcohol and things like that, having laws about commercials aimed at predatory behaviors towards hooking people's brains on things that are gonna do them harm, right? So those are the 4 messages that we need to get out. Just those 4 things will help stem the tide of the obesity pandemic. And so this video series took a long time to create. As a matter of fact, I started shooting the videos just over a year ago. And the animation and the editing and getting that final video together, it's just been a long time coming. And it's my gift to you. It's my gift to you. And you can access it for free, and the people you know can access it for free. Just download the Brightline Eating app. And of course, soon it'll be on the Brightline Eating website and so forth. But right now, the best place to find it is in the Brightline Eating app, in the portion that everyone can access for free. And just look right in the middle of your screen on the app and find that video series, and you'll just scroll through. You see the 10 videos right there. They're numbered 1 through 10. Just start at the beginning and enjoy. I'm so excited to release these videos for you. And that's the weekly vlog. I'll see you next week.